Hey, guys. So the attendance tonight was 12,171. The gate was 1.1 million. It's the highest grossing sporting event in the arena's history. Fight of the night, no shocker, I don't think, for anybody, Smoka versus Elliott. The performance of the nights go to Whitaker and Demetrious Johnson. So they all won $50,000. Congratulations to them. What a night.
Nice change of pace from last week with all the drama, and then, like, no drama tonight.
Exactly. Now, seriously, this was, you know, obviously the most stacked card of the year so far, and this was as flawless an event as we could ever have. It was literally the perfect event.
Talk about your flyweight champ for a minute, because obviously he's on another level than all of us probably understood.
So what's crazy is he does what he does here tonight, right? And I'm doing an interview with Brazil, and I start to walk away, and I hear him ask his coach, what did I do wrong? I stopped and said, hey, coach, let me answer this for you. Nothing. He did nothing. I mean, he literally, first of all, he looked incredible on his feet. The punch stat numbers are ridiculous, right? Then he goes to the ground and is absolutely dominating and goes for the most dangerous move you could try to pull off, an armbar. Not only pulling off an armbar when you're dominating like that, but against the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion. The guy is an absolute freak. Joe Rogan was blowing me up. You know, this guy's a wizard. He's the greatest ever. And Rogan's going, you know, Rogan, he's a jiu-jitsu nut, so he's going crazy and well-deserved.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, too. I mean, we've already conceded he's the #1 pound for pound right now. Are you willing to say he's the #1 guy in the history of the sport at this point?
Listen, he's got one more fight, and he breaks Anderson Silva's record, and he continues. Listen, he's already the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, and he strives to be better each time, and he gets better each time, literally destroying people. Yeah, this kid could be considered the GOAT right now, and or to give Anderson Silva the true respect, you wait till he actually breaks the record, and it's hard to not call this guy the greatest of all time.
So for him to break it, though, he's got to have somebody else to challenge him, and it seems like he's starting to run out of guys.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
Anderson Silva had that problem too, you know what I mean? When you run through guys, as long as, you know, these two have run through guys, yeah. But I promise you we'll find somebody.
Talk about Robert Whitaker for a minute, because obviously he blew up the guy that, you know, was in the top 3 or 4 guys.
So he's been a guy that I've been a big fan of for a very long time. And basically what I said is the first clinch is going to tell how this fight's going to go. And, man, that was exciting. And then, I mean, he literally took his time. He was calm, smooth, composed, you know, jumped in and did damage when it was time to do it, and, you know, kept his distance when he felt he, again, another flawless fight. I mean, he fought a perfect fight. Rose Namajunas fought a flawless fight, and the list goes on and on of great fights that we saw tonight.
Robert obviously talked about, you know, saying he wants Bisping, but obviously that's not necessarily in the cards in the near term. But what would you recommend for a guy like that? Sit back and wait? I know you never want guys to sit back and wait.
I'm never a big fan of sitting back and waiting, because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, I've seen guys who have opted to sit back and wait when I told them not to, and you know what happens? You don't make any money. You sit around for a long time. And listen, the unfortunate part of this business, well, the unfortunate and fortunate part of this business is people forget real quick, you know? So whether you come off a great win or you come off a horrible loss, our memories are very short.
Dana, Stephen St. John from Sports Radio 810 here in Kansas City. You mentioned the gate and the attendance. Did you see enough support this week and hear with the crowd that makes you want to bring UFC back to Kansas City in the near future?
Of course, absolutely. And especially when we break records, that always excites me. So, yeah, I want to thank the city. This place was great. Very, very fun city to hang out in, and the crowd was amazing tonight. Really great fans. I had a blast here, so thank you.
And you mentioned Tim Elliott. What do you see in his near future after this win tonight?
So that fight tonight, you see a handful of those in your lifetime. You know, we saw B.J. Penn versus Joe Daddy Stevenson. We saw Diego Sanchez versus Nick Diaz. We saw Carl Parisian versus Diego Sanchez. You know, you see a handful of those incredible technical ground battles that are so fun to watch. That's another one to go down in the books. Obviously, a great win for Tim in a fight of the night type fight. So, yeah, Amazing.
Mr. White, keeping with talking about Tim, you know, this is his second run in the UFC. He had a good fight against Demetrious Johnson, comes out here and gets fighted tonight. What type of security does that buy him in the
Yeah, well, he comes off the Ultimate Fighter, you know, has a great fight against DJ, looks incredible tonight in one of those handful of fights you'll see in your life. Not a shitty run for him lately, right? He's looking good.
I mean, you've cut him once before. Do you see a better future for him now?
Yeah. I mean, listen, this is no different than football, baseball, basketball, or anything else. When you perform, you continue to roll. It's when you stop performing and you accrue, you know, a certain amount of losses. That's when you end up getting cut.
What have you seen him change or adapt to that's given him this opportunity?
You know, probably you know, when he did get cut from here, he went out and worked on his game. Some guys fall apart, and other guys keep going. You know, he kept going. He kept improving, you know, and trying to become a better fighter. And then once he got the opportunity again, he came in, and he's making the most of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dane McGuire from 590 Fox Sports in St. Louis. I just want to kind of get your thoughts on Missouri has a great history in MMA and combat sports. What made now the right time to bring the UFC to the state of Missouri and Kansas City?
I've wanted to come to Missouri for a long time, but, you know, it just didn't work out in the past, and now was the time, was the perfect time. And I always knew that once we came here, when we go to St. Louis, you know, I knew it was going to be big. I think St. Louis is going to be big, too.
Do you have any idea when that's in the cards?
St. Louis? I
Yes,
don't know.
yes.
No. Soon, I hope. I'm looking forward to it.
And lastly, again, as far as the main event goes, out of all the champions you have, when you come to a new market, what made Demetrious the right fit?
You know, everything's all about timing. You know, this was a big Fox card, and we had a rough start out the gate. We had an amazing year last year. We had a rough start out of the gates because of a lot of injuries and people who had just fought. And now we're going to start picking up steam the rest of this year. People are healthy, and this was the first big card of the year, and man, did it live up to the hype.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dana, Rose Namajunas, brilliant performance tonight against Michelle Waterson. Where is she in the title picture? Do you think she's ready for another title shot?
I do. You know, I think in her fight with Carolina, you saw how Carolina fought Joanna. I mean, that fight was amazing. She looked great, and you know, Rose went back to the drawing board and came back with the, you know, she looked amazing tonight. She couldn't have fought a more perfect fight, and you know, she thinks she's ready for a title, and I agree with her after tonight's performance.
Any other questions?
You done with me? Thank you so much, guys. We had a blast here, and I really appreciate it. Fans, too, thank you.